Hi, it's Peculus here. It's a funny thing if you own a riding school, you often anywhere you go, if you run into someone who has an interest in horses, they'll often sort of share with you their experience with horses where it is that they ride, which is always interesting to me. Anyway, I met a lady recently who was telling me about the lessons she was taking, and everything sounded good, like she was learning all the technical aspects of riding that were necessary to get good at it, and everything sounded like it was very correct. But the problem for her was that she was really suffering from a lot of anxiety. Like she said that she had dreamt about horses all her life. She had waited till her kids were grown and she had a little bit more time, a few more resources to finally embark on this journey. But she was ending up feeling so anxious. Like she actually said, like after my lesson, if I've survived it, which I thought, what a funny way to put that. But anyway, if I've actually survived it, I'm quite euphoric for a day or so, but then within a couple of days, I'm already starting getting anxious knowing that the next week's lesson is coming around again. Even brushing the horse, she can get anxious. Even taking him out of the stall, she can get anxious. Certainly getting on him, she was a nervous wreck. And I think part of the problem for her, and this is what we've sort of talked about a little bit, is that she's done what a lot of people do. And I think it's a bit of a mistake, is that we start in the wrong place in the journey, so to speak. So learning to ride is not, or even learning to work with horses, it's not like learning to play golf or tennis or something like that. Like in those sports, there's all sorts of technical aspects that we have to pay attention to, as there is in riding horses. All sorts of things. You have to learn how to hold the golf club, or eye to hand coordination with tennis, whatever it is. There's all of these aspects, but the sport of riding is so different because we're dealing with a living, breathing creature that has opinions and a way of looking at the world that's different than ours. And when I say that we start in the wrong place in the journey, I guess what I mean is that sometimes people just get right onto the business of learning to ride without actually getting to know their partner. And I think that's a big mistake, like once you start to understand a little bit more about how the horse is communicating. It's like being in a relationship. This is how I think of it. It's like being in a relationship with someone, and every time you tell them that something that they're doing is bothering them or whatever, that not only do they ignore you, but they actually double down and keep doing it, right? It would be very hard to feel connected to a person like that, right? Because you'd feel like they're not hearing me, they're not listening to anything that I'm saying, and the horse will feel the same way, right? If a horse is trying to tell you that something you're doing is irritating or uncomfortable or whatever, and we just keep going because we don't read the signals, we don't understand what he's trying to say, it's really hard for the horse, it's really hard for us to ever kind of develop a relationship with that animal that is sort of connected, right? That you actually feel like you're making a connection with the horse. Like there's nothing nicer than when you're working with a horse and you feel like he understands what it is you're asking to and he willingly does it. I mean, of course, everything can be forced if that is the road you want to go down. It's certainly not the one I want to go down. I like the idea that the horse understands what it is I've asked him to do, and he does it willingly. I think that's where we want to start in this journey, and then we want to get to the learning of the technical skills. But first, we have to get to know our partner. That's just my opinion. I hope that helps that lady. Because it's a shame to see her so nervous like that. At any rate, that's it for this week. Remember to thank your horse, and we will talk to you soon.